Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm working on the Honda Varadero 125, and I told you I was going to help you guys work out how to piece back together the carbs and then the airbox and so on. So the carbs pop into their slot and you tighten them up. That bit's done. We did that the other day. Next step is working out this black bit goes in there, but you need to get these, and they go like this, and they slot like that on both of the carbs. Right, where's the second one? There it is. Like that and like that. There you go, they slot in exactly like that, because I'm not sure they fit in after the black piece. Then black piece goes in. Just kind of work it out. It needs to go like that. There you go, exactly like that. Am I right, or should that go in afterwards? Let me see, I don't know if they do go in. Let me check, they might go in after anyway. Right, so you seat that down like that. That's it. And then will they go in like that or not? No, so they do have to go in from the other side like I had. So do exactly what I did again, so pop it up in like that, seat it down. It seats in a specific way anyway. You can't really get this bit wrong, guys. Just turn it until it seats. There you go, that one's seated as well. And then you've got to work out how to pop this in like that. Yeah, it's going to be one of them. Right, give me a moment. It's fiddly. So that's it. Basically, you just pull it away a touch, spin it, and get it clipped in. Now, the next step technically is these bits here like this. Now, have a look how they seat. It's the wider parts on the outside. And then you see there's a location tab for that. So that goes on like that. Make these fit. And then you bolt the whole things down using these here. It should go all the way through and to the carb. It will bite at some point. That one's bit there. So that one's on. So you do them 4. So I'm going to do that with them 4 screws, and I'll come back to you and show you. In fact, and then I'll be doing exactly the same thing with the second one. Down there, it's got a location screw. You can't get the actual positioning wrong. And I'm going to screw them down as well. And we'll come back to that. So this is where we've ended up, guys. This is all bolted down. The velocity stacks are on and bolted down. Now the next part to getting the airbox back on is this part here. What you do is shove it down so that that tube goes in first like this. Get that under and then work it through like that. There you go. And all you want to do is just kind of work it. All you want to do is get it seated. Yeah, that's it. Get it seated down here so that you can put the screws in that I showed you before. You do have to work it a little bit though. Come on, come on, come on. You need to push over a bit. Push over. Okay everyone, so we're back. We put these 4 screws in. So now we've got our carbs connected, our velocity stacks up and ready, and our airbox here like this. From here we put the foam filter in and the lid on. Let me find that. There you go, filter and lid. There you go. So it will be something like, I don't actually know what way this goes. It goes this way. There you go. Just kind of make it fit. Just make sure it, there you go, it slots in. and then do the same with this. And then if, like me, you've lost the screws, pretend that that's all done on camera and that there's screws in there, and that's it. No, seriously, do put a couple of screws in, even if you have to find new ones, because it needs to be sealed to get the right amount of air through. I've got them somewhere, I need to just pull them out. And then these tubes are just obvious. Look, you just connect them where they sit. That one goes there. That again, that's an overflow pipe, this one here, so you don't need to worry about that. Tuck that out the way. This one's just a little bit of extra air that comes from the engine. It goes back into the airbox and just gives a little bit of extra flow for the old carbs. And kind of that's it for now. That's as far as we can go. Give the this is the throttle, the idle adjuster. Remember, I doused it with WD, so we need to keep working that slowly over a few days to get that sorted. And with the old stator wires here, I'm just putting a bit of tape around them, making them quite secure so that they're ready to go. So in a minute I'm going to be tipping some fuel back down these lines, absolutely praying that the carbs fill up on both sides, and this thing we might even hear it, maybe. So it cranked over and over and over and over and over. It cranked. I leaned on the airbox to make sure it was sealed enough, and it fired straight up. So it shows you that it's a really temperamental system in regards to air. Let me show you it running for the first time if it starts again. It should just start straight back up. Famous last words. Needs to be a joke. I think it ran out of fuel. I mean, considering most of it's on the floor. Yeah. What we need to figure out now is why is the fuel overflowing to the point where it's crazy overflowing, really, isn't it? So if I tip some in, I'll show you. I'll tip some in. You watch how it just kind of pours straight back out, really. put a fair amount in this time because I'd like it to idle a little bit. But look here. So where are we coming from? So that's not overflow, that one. Oh, that one's blatantly overflow. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, that's nuts. That will also be going into the engine. But let's fire it a touch anyway, just to keep it kind of warm. It likes choke, this bike. It likes lots of choke. It also likes not starting. Didn't like gear. Okay. Right, so I'm not going to mess with that anymore, there's no point. That front carb is just spilling out all the crap. That means the float system isn't shutting off the fuel. So yesterday it was stuck up and it was stuck down, it wasn't letting fuel in. Today it's letting fuel in so much that it overflows and spills out through the overflow pipe, which is at the bottom. So I don't think they're adjustable because they're on fixed plastic. I need to find out about that. Let me check. Otherwise it may just need a couple of new floats, which I can get off Jake at some point, I'm sure. I might even have some spares in here. Worth chucking in a couple of new floats to make sure that's kind of done properly. There's no point having all of that spilling out. I do want to do one more test. I am going to do that now while the bike's giving me something. And I want to spray the intake here and here to check to see if the carbs are sealed properly, because I just feel like they're not, even though I did it myself. So we'll see if the engine spews up or cuts out. That will be what the issue is. Hi guys, welcome back. It's Sunday today. I'm going to be continuing the Honda Varadero project. Now, yesterday I took the carbs off and apart, and the front carb I got cleaned so that fuel entered it. However, the fuel kept coming out. It kept coming out of the overflow pipes. So I need to pop the carbs again. I'm going to do a leak down test this time, which is exactly what we've been doing on the bike anyway, but just kind of lower down on the ground so we can see it. And I'll just show you exactly the same thing, that one carb holds fuel and one leaks it. Or I'll get these carbs off, I'll pop this one again, and we'll just see, maybe give it another clean, maybe have another quick look at the float, and then see how we go from there. Yeah, when I first took these carbs off, it was really intimidating because they look very busy. Second time wasn't too bad, third time's easy. Just undo what I showed you yesterday, which I'm aware isn't uploaded yet anyway, and yeah, just trace it all backwards, undo the clamps, pop the carbs, and so on. So it gets easier every time you do it, which is why it's worth doing your own maintenance at home. So next step, I'm going to have these carbs off. I will probably pop the drain bowls again, just to give them another quick look at and another quick clean, and double check the floats again. They looked fine to me yesterday, but I'm going to double check them again, give them another quick clean, chuck it all back together, and see if it seals or not off the bike. Okay everyone, so it genuinely took about 10 minutes to pop them carbs back off. Now I want them in the order on the bike, so they need to be this way around. There's no major reason for that, I just want them like that. Because that's the carb that's causing me trouble, so I want to make it clear. Again, this pipe work can be a pain. If you need to pop it, just pop it and remember where it goes, or picture it. Otherwise, don't pop it. I am going to pop it because I need access. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did in in the last, or earlier in this video it will be. But I'm going to check the float again, and then I'm going to do the leak down test when I put it back together, and see if it holds fuel. Basically, I'll fill up the tube of fuel, it will fill up both carbs, we'll hold it in the air and we'll see how that goes. If anything interesting comes up, I'll show you guys, but I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to be looking for when I pop these open again. So the first thing we're looking at is this overflow tube here. Now, it's this one here. People normally think that if fuel's coming out of here at the bottom, that it's because of this screw not being sealed enough, and they spend a lot of time trying to re-seal this. Actually, there are two exits to this tube. One's down the bottom using that screw, and one's up here, because if the fuel ever keeps rising and rising and rising and rising to the point where it's going to go into the cylinders, it drips down here first, and that's why we see overflow. Now the first thing you need to check is this pipe here. Has it got any splits in it? Has it broke? And then you check the bottom sealing area by tipping fuel in and seeing if it holds it. So you tip a little bit of fuel in, fill this up halfway, and see if it's sealing. If it doesn't drip, that's a good start. Then we'll look into the floats, the float needle valve, and the other stuff. What we can do is, with the carb off now, we can fill it up anyway like that, and then check that the float's shutting off fuel by pressing it up. So there's a couple of things we're checking there. We're filling this with a little bit of fuel just to see how it sits, and then probably going to top that up, and I'm going to hold the floats up and see if any fuel still comes out. Okay, so let me see if I can get us zoomed in. I don't know if I can. Here's the float. It looks fine. You need to look for a groove. If it's kind of worn, then it doesn't seal as well as it should. So yeah, I mean, if in doubt, replace it. They're like £6, but There is a bit of a groove on this one, but it would be more prominent. So I don't know. I'm going to clean that bit of the carb again, chuck it all back in and do the leak down test. Okay, so I'm going to keep rolling on this one. I'm going to use the, I'm going to put some fuel in down the tube, get the fuel into both carbs. Both carbs will fill up, and then the tube should fill up until it overflows, but there shouldn't be any spill under the carb. So we're having a look. Let me get you to a better position. That's it. Sorry, I'm just straightening out the legs here. 1, 2, and 3. So just, we'll be looking down there for any fuel drip. So let's have a look. You might see some, if this fills up, you might see some come out of here, or you will. So both carbs will be filling up now. The float systems will be doing their thing, or not. I'm waiting for the fuel to spit out the top. Yep, there you go, fuel is spitting out the top. So we switch this off. Perfect. And now we've got a couple of ways to do this. We can obviously look and see drips. At the moment there's none, and we can just see the fuel level here, which it is creeping down. So where is the fuel going? Is it leaking? No, it only settled down. Maybe it was still going around. You can see more than I can right now, I think. Okay guys, so I have popped the carbs back on, but I've not done all the dirty work. I have done all the tubes though, because it's a bit of a pain when you don't do it at this stage. So I have done all the tubes, and I have nipped the carbs up, so they are on for, you know, for argument's sake. But you'd be really stupid here not to put fuel back into it and watch. Because by the time you've moved the carbs and you've shook them and you've turned them upside down, and I even went out the way to loosen up the idle screw, which is perfect now, by the way, guys. If I don't say so myself. Let me get it. Yep. Yeah, so you have moved it around a lot, so you do have to kind of be a bit wary of that. So I am now going to go fill up that tube again, all the way to the top, mess the bike, you know, back and forward a little bit, and see what happens. There is, if you swish your bike too much, guys, there is an element of that overflow. That is what it's there for. So when I was putting the carbs back on and I was moving them left, right and upside down, some did spit out, and I was thinking, God, it's gone again. That's not the case. It's designed for that. But let's check it while it's still now by tipping it in and watching it and see what happens. I'll set you guys up. Let's see. Can you see best here? I think you see best here, actually. I don't know what that picture's like. Let me get down low. Alright. I'm going to set you up at this angle. I'm going to top it up with fuel, and we'll just sit and wait for a minute. Okay guys, so you keep an eye on that. I'm going to tip in from the top. You're looking for any drips or leaks from this area here. I'll move this pipe out the way. Or not. So the tube is full. Both carbs should have fuel in it. I'm going to tilt the bike a touch just to kind of see if it works its way around or if it makes a difference. We're looking for fuel leak. So far, so good. Let's give it a couple of minutes. Okay guys, so first start up after new carb work this morning. This should start fairly easily. Should. Right, no choke to start with. Seems. Right, I'm not using choke yet. I was just trying it without choke first. Also, the idle is super low. All right, choke. Let's get this thing running. I haven't set the idle. No, I'm holding it. Sounds smooth. No, I wouldn't bother. Just when it's running nice. So spark plug clean, pop them out, gave them a clean. Next start up, let's see if it starts up easier. If it does, I'm just going to order some new spark plugs just for ease. And yeah, let's see where we go from there. There is fuel in it, I just topped it up. Much better. That was without.
Hey! Did you have a helmet on or anything? No. You had no helmet on. I mean, didn't you, like, in the accident, didn't you have like no helmet?
Maybe it doesn't need choke.
You had 6 weeks. You gotta be careful, man.
Okay guys, live real-time oil drop. Let's see what it's like. It's pretty black, guys. It's black. So definitely worth dropping this one. This is a geared bike, it uses a clutch. That's really quite black. It's not overly watery, it doesn't look particularly contaminated, but it is black. It was due an oil change no matter what. Now where's the oil filter on this? I haven't actually got one. It might be an internal one. I'll look into the filter. Sometimes it's just a piece of mesh that needs cleaning. Yeah, for now if it's not accessible, the filter, I am going to change the oil anyway and put fresh in, even though it will come dirty quite quick. It'll be better than what's in there. Okay guys, so the oil filter's in here. It looks like this. I'm impatient, so I've just given this one a good clean before I put the new one back in using carb cleaner. It says quite clearly outside and inside, so you can't really go wrong. This side and spring towards engine. Push it in like that, put the top back on, bolt it back up, and you're good to go. So guys, as the engine's been sitting a while, I'm going to use this top of the range oil, liquid moly, that Jake left when he did his GSXR project, so thanks Jake. And let me just remind you of how black that is. Crazy. Yeah, and I'll dispose of that correctly, of course, as always. And let's get it. It takes 1.1 litres. There's a litre in there. I'll top it up. I've got more of that stuff. I'll top it up a bit. I'll put the whole litre in first, and then we'll see how it is. Okay guys, so my plan was to take this for a spin, but the second I disconnect the battery it cuts out, so it needs a battery. All the work we've done has been good. Watch it start pretty much on the button now. Watch it. Yes. Yes, it's a much happier bike. I have decided though in my head, oh, we've got fuel spill. Where's that coming from? No, it's overflow again. That's so annoying. So annoying. It shows you how temperamental they are. It's been fine all day, guys. Rajab, get me that, pass me that chisel. Just file, yeah. I was seeing, guys, if, oh, yeah, see the float gets, see that float has shut off now, you see that? Interesting. It basically gets stuck in the open and close position, so I think I'm going to just order a new one. Although it doesn't make sense, does it? The actual chamber was caked a little bit. It had kind of a bit of, what was it, like corrosion in there. So maybe it needs another good clean. And maybe a new float wouldn't hurt, a new float valve wouldn't hurt anyway. A mixture of both might sort it right out. That smoke, where's that smoke coming from? Doesn't really matter too much. I'm going to run this fuel through it, guys. Oh, it's coming from the exhaust. I've got fuel on the exhaust. I'm going to run this fuel through it. Again, it shows you how temperamental this carb is. So it can get closed, it can get stuck closed, it can get stuck open. That's the stuff we need to be careful about. But it sounds great. Wow. The second I disconnect the battery, it cuts out, so I can't test it. Next things on my list, new float valve, new battery, float valve battery, oh, let me have a think, front headlight, because Sultan stole mine, petrol tank, stuff like that, maybe a clean air filter, definitely a couple of spark plugs, why not. Okay guys, so I'm wrapping up for today. Sultan's also wrapping up, I'll do it separately, but yeah, just to show you, there's a tiny bit of fuel left, probably in the wires, or there might not be. Just to show you how nice it starts. I have topped up the oil now, it's got the exact amount in it. Oh, hang on. Oh, I've disconnected the battery. Oh, okay, well, you've seen it start anyway. It's revving really nice, guys. It's definitely on its way. The only last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get the old cap out of that tank, because I can use it just for kind of bits and pieces for now, until I decide to order a new one. So thanks for watching as always, guys. This is a big old long video, this one, And I'm also going to edit and do Sultan's novice guide to bikes. He's done a great job today.